Legendary frontman of the 1970s group, the Bay City Rollers, Les McKeown, sadly passed away at home at the age of 65. Of course, back in the 70s, the Rollers had loads of big hits with songs like Shang-a-Lang, Bye Bye Baby, and the big number one, Give a Little Love. And of course, over the years, I had the pleasure of working with Les and the Bay City Rollers, interviewing them many times on TV and radio, and working with them on a number of big gigs, including the Big Buzz Irish Entertainment Awards back in 2005. It was always a pleasure to work with Les, and the last time that I caught up with him was on the Big Show Christmas special a few years ago. Here's what happened.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you know it's Christmas in Belfast, or nearly Christmas in Belfast, when the Bay City Rollers are in town, and Les joins me now. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you for coming around and looking at my Christmas tree that I've been preparing for you.
Only one thing we should have done, we should have found some tartan decorations to put on it, shouldn't we?
I thought I'd just leave it out and just wear the tartan top, just like I did back in the 70s.
So where did the whole tartan thing come from? Who came up with the idea of wearing tartan?
Well, you know, my dad's from Northern Ireland. He was from Ballymena. My mum was from Banbridge, County Down. They met in Belfast in one of those workshops. And they eventually ended up, got married, went to Edinburgh. Years later, my dad would be the tailor who made the first Bay City Roller costume.
Wow. And when people come to see the gigs now as well, are they still bringing the tartan scarves and still wearing the tartan?
Yeah, some people are even doing the full whack. They're coming with the short trousers on and, you know, everything that we used to wear back in the day.
Wow.
So that's a clip from the last time that I had the pleasure of interviewing Les McKeown. Now, somebody else who worked with Les and the Bay City Rollers over the years was Des Lee from the Miami Showband. And Des joins us now on the line. Des, thank you for joining us. I'm sure, like the rest of us, when you heard the news about Les, you were shocked as well.
I was sitting outside on this beautiful sunny day today, Robin, just sitting out the back doing some work on my car. And I had the radio on while I was doing the work, and the news came on, and I heard the news, and I was absolutely shocked to the core when I heard the news about Les. You know, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he's still a young man, 65 today is a young age. And I was absolutely horrified when I heard the news. I felt so sorry for his family and for the fans of the Bay City Rollers. Like, when you think of it, they were the Beatles of Scotland, you know. And the other thing was, Les was such an absolute gentleman. And, you know, we backed him in the Miami Showband at the Opera House in Belfast.
Yeah.
When he came over to do the Do You Come Here Often with David Hull. And we backed him on the same show. I think we backed Brenton Boyer, and Les McKeown was on that day as well. But one of my best photographs ever of all time, one of my favorite number one photographs is my photograph with my late great friend, Fran O'Toole, with Les McKeown. Now, that photograph was taken in the early 70s. There was the Starlight Awards in Dublin, and the awards were been given out to the Miami for the Showband, and they were given out to the Bay City Rollers for Group of the Year. And while we were all together, Fran was able to get his photograph taken with the Bay City Rollers, and that photograph is just absolutely amazing. And as I say, he was a lovely, lovely man. I am totally and utterly shocked by his death. You know, it's a wake-up call for all of us.
Of course, as well, thinking about the Bay City Rollers, the sad thing for the Rollers was they had absolutely horrendous management who mismanaged them, took all the money, and in the end, the guys were left with nothing. They were left penniless.
That's correct. Oh, it was a very sad look, the court cases that Les had to go through and everything. You know, it's extremely sad after the popularity they had, how they were famous all over the world. And I just read today that Les was in the middle of a tour and the coronavirus, he was in Toronto, apparently in Canada.
Yeah.
they were in the middle of a tour and he had to come back to the UK because of coronavirus. And they intended going back to rejoin the tour in Canada in November 21. Such a pity. Such a pity. And he was a fantastic personality on stage.
I had the pleasure of seeing them live more recently as well, and I mean the audiences, the women out there still absolutely loved Les and the band.
He was such a good looking man, and he had a brilliant personality, a great voice, great stage presence, and he'll be sadly missed.
He will indeed. Well, Des, thank you so much for sharing your memories of Les McKeown. So there we go, Des Lee from the Miami Showband.
Wow. And it seems, looking at your tour dates at the minute, you seem as busy now as you probably were back in the 70s. It seems to be non-stop.
Probably busier. But the good thing about it is I'm getting paid this time.
And I see you're still big in countries like Japan.
Yeah, we toured Japan for 3 weeks in February. We're still doing 6-7 weeks in Australia every year. We do about 4 or 5 months touring in the UK, and that includes Ireland. So yeah, we're taking the band to Slovakia in the summertime, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden want us up there, Holland, you name it, they all want us. Maybe before the Brexit, they want us.
Yes, yeah.
Oh no, that'll be after it, won't it?
I wanted to ask you as well about your fellow bandmate, Alan Longmuir. He sadly passed away this year, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. It was unfortunate about that. Alan went to Mexico to chill out and caught a really bad virus. Ended up, they flew him back in the Medi jet back to Stirling near his home in Bannockburn, and he just never recovered. I went up there with my wife, and we spent the last few days with Derek, his brother, Eileen, his wife, me and my wife, Becco. So it was really bad. But he's gone now, so we pay tribute to Alan every night and sing his first hit with the Basic Roars, Keep on Dancing. The audience loves it.
Yeah.
Another clip there from the last time that I had the pleasure of speaking to Les McKeown. Now, somebody else who worked with Les and the Bay City Rollers was Brian Moore. Brian joins us now on the line as well. Brian, thank you for joining us. And I suppose, like everybody else who we've spoke to, you were shocked when you heard the news about Les.
Of course I was. Actually, I picked it up on Facebook. I hadn't actually heard the news. It was a good pal, Raymond O'Hara. You might remember him.
Yeah.
He had it on his Facebook page. So I was quite shocked because I booked him way back. Oh, it must have been about 1835 or thereabouts in Kelly's of Portrush. Booked Les as the Bay City Rollers. And then more recently, he appeared in Botanic Gardens in Belfast for David Hull and the wonderful event that was the Belfast Taste and Music Fest.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And Les came along with his band. Now, at that time, it couldn't be called the Bay City Rollers. There were legal implications there. It was something like Les McKeown's Bay City Rollers or something. But anyway, it was Les McKeown and larger than life. And what got me was it had been years and years really since we'd heard a lot about them. And there they came on stage in Botanic Gardens, and I was gobsmacked by the number of people who turned up in Bay City Roller outfits, with tartan scarves and so forth. And he put on a stormer of a performance. And then we all headed back. I was staying in the same hotels, all the acts are. At that time, there were 4 bands a day on at Botanic Gardens. Yeah. So I headed back to the hotel. Les was there. We all had a bite to eat. And Les went to bed with a book.
Oh,
so
right.
Strange days, from the apparent, I never witnessed it, but apparent hellraiser that he was back in the day,
I can actually reveal I did do a bit of hell raising with him, and I have lived through some of those hell raising moments with Les in venues in Derry, and we did a gig in Glasgow that was pretty crazy as well. So he did live up to that reputation of being an absolute party animal, as well as being an absolute gentleman and a totally lovely man as well. The thing about the Bay City Rollers, I'm sure you realised when you saw them on stage, was there was so many more hits that were forgotten about from the 70s. There was more than just Bye Bye Baby, Shang-a-Lang, Give a Little Love. There was a whole load more to them, wasn't there?
They had a whole string of top, if not number ones, but top 10 hits. I can't remember. Was it 20 or something like that?
20. I mean, I was going through songs today like Remember and Summer Love Sensation, All of Me Loves All of You. You know, there was so much great music. They had so much potential, had so many hits, but the sad thing was bad management behind them in the 70s.
Yes, I think whilst they lifted an absolute fortune, I don't think they saw any of it from what I hear.
They didn't. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your memories of Les. Of course, our thoughts are with Les's family and indeed Bay City Rollers fans everywhere.
Yeah.
Brian Moore, thank you so much for joining us. We'll get back to that interview that I've been talking about and showing clips of so far this evening. Here's another clip of Les.
New material.
I have recorded new material. Anyone who cares to could go into iTunes. They could look for Les McKeown, if you can remember how to spell my name. Of course you will, because I'm in Ireland. So, and the album was called The Lost Songs, or Lost Songs. And that's songs that I recorded or wrote back in 1974, 75. And now we've got a chance to record them with a producer from Scotland called John McLaughlin and his partner, Judd. So we kept that vibe, that basic roller vibe, because what was on the little demo tapes was that Shang-a-Lang type beat, you know. So everything's not a copy of Shang-a-Lang, but it's got that flavour about it with a bit of edgy guitars and stuff, but also lots of harmonies. And of course the lyrics are quite kind of teeny, if you know what I mean. So I didn't change them much.